So I had someone reach out recently and basically ask me, like, what would be the quickest way to get into a relationship despite having herpes? And this person went on to actually join my coaching program. We've been working together for a couple weeks now. And it just dawned on me, like, there's a right way and there's a wrong way. And there's things that you can do to make getting into a relationship despite having herpes essentially effortless. And it really just comes down to a 3-step process, in my opinion. And it's going to all start off with accepting the diagnosis. So maybe you've been diagnosed today, maybe you've been diagnosed for years. And I think a lot of people, they get into a place of like, I'll date when I'm ready and when I've accepted it. And when you really think about it, like, accepting it isn't this like long-winded process. It really is like flipping a coin. It's like you either accept it or you don't, but eventually you accept it. So it's like if you zoom out on sort of a timeline, you are going to accept it. It just depends on whether you can do that today or 5 years from now, because you do in fact have the virus. And the longer that you spend pushing it away, like an elastic band, which is always going to snap back at your face, the longer you push it away, just accept it today. So accept that you have this virus. I know a lot of people are probably going to say, like, yeah, but I don't want to accept it. And one of the important things to do there is ask yourself why. Why can't you accept this? And one of the things that comes down to is like the story that you tell yourself about having it. So I don't want to accept that I have herpes because, and then you probably have a laundry list of reasons, like people are going to judge you. No, you cannot be judged unless you currently judge yourself. You might get rejected. You actually don't know that. You actually really don't know if your dating life is going to be worse post-diagnosis. The first person I ever disclosed to, she was a great gal. I just wasn't looking for a relationship with anybody. And we dated for 3 or 4 months. And that first disclosure was successful. She didn't really think I was dirty. She didn't run away. We had a good connection. We were intimate. She didn't just get herpes. And I think we sort of catastrophize our dating life post-diagnosis in our head because that's the safe option. Because if we say dating is going to be harder, or if we say that people are going to reject us, we can essentially like be more in control of rejecting ourselves, so we don't have to have like the sting of actually going out there and putting yourself out there and feeling that rejection. There's a long-winded way to get back to what we were originally saying, which is the lack of acceptance. So the story that you tell yourself about what your life is going to be post-diagnosis is usually bad. You know, it's usually to protect us from fear or rejection or things like that. When in reality, your diagnosis just is something that you get. You know, I know it is like the whole for life thing too that bothers people, but then again too, like cold sores have been for life. Maybe you got it as a kid, maybe you could. These turkeys are going crazy. Come on, guys. What are you doing? I'm trying to make a video about herpes here, okay? You guys got herpes? No? Chickens have herpes, don't they? I don't know. I don't know if these are chickens or turkeys, but that's besides the point. Let's get back on track. I don't even know what the point of the video was, honestly. Let me see if I can get my thoughts in order. I'm trying to have a little bit of a lychee tea here. Is it lychee or is it lychee? Accepting your diagnosis. People don't tell themselves stories about getting cold sores and how it impacts their life. And I guarantee that if people disclosed cold sores all of the time, oral herpes, they'd either receive more rejection or crazy looks, or people would realize that herpes is incredibly common and a risk in general. So, getting back to how you make finding a wife, finding a husband, fairly easy post-diagnosis is you accept your diagnosis. From there, I want you to stay off of Reddit. Stay off of all the negative stuff, the doom scrolling and the horror stories, and I want you to actually get educated about herpes. Now, this is step number one in the three-step process, which is, what is herpes? How common is it? How do I keep my partners safe? How do I increase my own confidence about talking about the subject? Because then I can openly discuss it with partners and give them information when they're inevitably going to have information that they want to hear about. Herpes stigma. What is it? Where did it come from? Should I buy into it? Is it my permanent label for life? Those two go hand in hand, which is backing up your confidence and backing up your knowledge base with proper information and understanding this dark cloud around a simple virus that most of planet Earth has. And then deciding to yourself, do I want to stand under this dark cloud, this dark umbrella? Or can I just like literally step out from underneath the dark cloud, let other people either get completely soaked by the cloud or just buy into their own ignorance? And that was fundamental for me to really look into the stigma and say, do I have to believe in this? And if I detach from the herpes stigma and I go and meet someone and they're like, oh, that's the worst thing ever, that's so gross. That's them being rained on by the herpes cloud. And I'm over here underneath beautiful blue skies. And I'm saying, I don't want to go under that dark cloud again. You can have fun over there. You can go and join the other people who are still under this dark cloud, whether they're diagnosed or not. So that would be the first thing, is that knowledge base, detaching from that stigma. From there, if you want to get into a relationship fairly quickly, you got to ask yourself, am I the same person in terms of what I have to offer, my confidence, all of that sort of thing, your sexual marketplace value for men and women? Are you the same as you were pre-diagnosis? Are you worse off now? Maybe you've kind of let yourself go post-diagnosis, or are you somehow better? Now, you're likely not going to be better immediately post-diagnosis because I wasn't there. If you're watching this video, you're probably not there. If you are just somehow living your best life post-diagnosis and you're watching this video, hats off to you. We need more people like you to uplift the folks in shame. I want you to write down all the different things that you still have to offer, or all the things that you do want to offer. So I would highly suggest, men or women, go to the gym, do some kind of exercise, go for a walk, pick up a hobby, get your body in the best shape as you can be. That's body shaming, bro. I truly believe that human beings should be like functionally fit. If your back hurts and your knees hurt when you get off a chair, that's not good. If you can't squat your own body weight, that's not good. What if your dog gets like, I don't know, like your dog, and you got to pick up your dog and you got to like walk it for a kilometer? I don't know. Be functionally fit. And going to the gym, building discipline, building good habits. There are so many reasons why this is going to be helpful. Better body image, less stress, better mental resilience. It's going to allow you to take your like stress and frustrations out on positive habits and not alcohol or drugs or things like that. No one ever felt worse after going to the gym. So if you pick that up, you do anything to get in the best shape of your life, it's going to make dating easier. And I keep saying this, the bar for men and women is so low nowadays that if you just try a little bit extra post-diagnosis, you can outcompete anybody else that doesn't even have herpes, that isn't even trying when it comes to dating. So you get back in your good shape, still socialize, okay? The reason this ties into the how to find a relationship quickly is because oftentimes the best way to meet someone isn't a dating app. Obviously it's convenient, depends where you live. If you're in the West, it's probably really bad. Dating apps are the worst. They're meant to keep you in a perpetual cycle of staying on the apps to make money. Go see your friends, socialize. If you don't use your social muscles, you're gonna lose them. Maybe your friends are gonna introduce you to someone else, or maybe you go bowling and you meet some guy or girl who's bowling, or maybe you have some other interests, or maybe you go to a concert. All these things are organic ways to meet someone because you likely want to meet someone who has similar interests. And spending all the time alone inside on your phone, doom scrolling herpes or doom scrolling Tinder, is not gonna be helpful for the way that you feel, because you're only one little swipe away from a terrible herpes video online or a toxic comment section, and you almost want to not have time to overthink about herpes. You want to have a busy, abundant life. So you get in shape and you go see your friends and you still try to become the best version of yourself. And this is sort of a long-winded timeline as to how you can just improve your life post-diagnosis. Because having things to offer and having things to do is going to prevent you from overthinking and spiraling out of control. And you never know what's going to happen in terms of dating. You might meet the first person and hit it off. Or you might meet 100 people and never even have to disclose because they all suck. Because dating itself is a numbers game. Which kind of goes into step number 3. Which is essentially, if you want to get into a relationship post-diagnosis fairly quickly, dating has always been a numbers game, whether you're male or female. And with that in mind, the best way to find a relationship or find a short-term thing or a marriage or whatever it is that you want, tell a bunch of people that you have herpes. Oh my God, that sounds so difficult. Now there's a video that already came out. It's called to tell 100 people that you have herpes, what happens next, or watch what happens next. And if you really think about it, how many people did you meet before you got herpes to like inevitably or eventually, I don't even know what the word is, I can't speak English, eventually find like a romantic relationship partner? Probably like 10, 20, 30. We think that post-diagnosis, it's going to be different, and it's not going to be different. It just comes with this like barrier of like, oh no, I'm going to have to tell a bunch of people if I'm interested in them that I have herpes, and that might open things up for more rejection. And what I find too is that finding somebody that you actually want to disclose to is more difficult. So if you have like little to no standards, you'll probably want to just tell a bunch of people. And in that case, you're probably going to, I guess, receive more rejection, maybe. But if you sort of ignore the fact that you do have herpes, build back your self-worth in step 2, which is through being nice to yourself, having things to offer, getting back to the best version of yourself post-diagnosis, believing that people are missing out on you if they don't want to date you, then you can screen potential partners and dates for, do I like them? Not, let me try to outsource my self-worth to them and get their approval so I can feel whole. You are still whole. And if you're not, go back to step 1 and step 2. Get educated, detach from the stigma, build your confidence up. If you want some help with that, I'll leave a video in the description box about how I help my coaching clients through that entire process. Give it a watch. Because once you get into step 3, dating and disclosure becomes effortless, because you are backing your knowledge with, how do I reduce transmission? And what's the prevalency? And what's the testing procedures? And could my date that I'm on a date with here have herpes too, and they might not even know? They might want to learn more about it. And if they have questions, how do I inform them? And if they say something nasty to me, am I going to hold on to that stigma? Am I going to detach and realize that's their opinion about herpes? That's instrumental when it comes to dating and disclosure, because there is no perfect script and perfect time for successful disclosure. It's just a conversation. It's a mutual conversation about sexual health. And when you have already detached from the expectation that you guys are getting married, then you're curious. How are they going to respond? What do they know about herpes? Let me gauge if they're going to give me an ignorant response, which in my opinion, if someone gives you an ignorant response about herpes, you're not missing out on them. So you never really should be too concerned about how they're going to react or how they're going to treat you, because if they don't react well, don't associate with them anymore. Distance yourself from them. They're going crazy about the herpes stigma over there too. Interesting perspective. They must not like my advocacy. But when you're able to disclose, frame it as a mutual conversation. Think about what your date wants to hear when they're being disclosed to make that conversation smooth, then you can bring that into every single dating scenario, every single partner. You get your reps in. And you might not even have to have like 157,000 dates. You might meet the first person. You might hit it off. You might have a great connection. And if you are someone who is at their best or striving for that, and you feel that in yourself, and that person sees you for you and they like you for you, and they're open to the idea of learning more about herpes, and you feel confident with your knowledge base that you can inform them, it's probably not going to be a huge deal breaker. And I really do believe that you are rarely missing out on people who react badly to you, whether they think they know all there is to know about herpes or all sorts of things like that. So on the flip side, to sort of conclude this video, how to get into a relationship fairly fast is just get educated, stay away from the toxicity, detach from the herpes stigma, become the best version of yourself post-diagnosis, not because you feel like you have to, but because unless you're just going to exit life, you either have two choices: mediocre life, never dating again, become your best, never dating again, or become your best, think about dating again. And the best option is just have the best life possible, regardless of your circumstances, and that's probably going to in turn make you want to date and have more success. What you absolutely don't want to do is doom scroll Reddit, put your diagnosis over here, don't accept it, buy into the herpes stigma every single day, let yourself go, reinforce negative thoughts and opinions and beliefs about yourself day in, day out, stay in your house, don't socialize, drop all your hobbies, don't ever consider dating or disclosing, let yourself go some more, refuse to even utter the H word out loud, contemplate all the worst case scenarios where someone reacts badly and spreads rumors around the town and says nasty words to your face, and keep this a secret for the rest of your life. And essentially, the longer and longer and longer that you go down that path, the harder it's going to be to go back the right path and do step 1, 2, 3 in the right order. If you want some help with outlining that process, a timeline to overcome your diagnosis, the first link in the description box is a video. Let's book a call together and let's figure this out.